Hey yo, what's decent? I'm all up in your face like a rear view mirror. You have a crazy set of VGC matches that took place last week. My opponent's gonna start off with Scrafty and Landorus. I'm gonna lead out with Gyarados and Electros. Because of the Intimidate, Landorus's Rock Slides aren't gonna do too much to anything to Gyarados and or Electros, so I'm pretty safe. I'm just gonna switch out into Among Us right now because I know that even if Scrafty does have Ice Punch, it won't finish off and I could get off a Spore on something that might want to come in. If he decides to switch out, I'm just gonna go for the Acrobatics on the Scrafty, but it eats a Citrus Berry. It recovers a little bit more HP. It's back in the green. I'm just gonna put Landorus potentially to sleep, but he switches right out into Thundurus, which is great. I catch the Thundurus to sleep. He's gonna go back out into Landorus to get the double Intimidate back off. More importantly, on my Electros, and then afterwards, I'm just gonna go for the Rock Slide as opposed to just going for the Acrobatics and focusing all my attention on Scrafty. But he did switch out, so Acrobatics wasn't doing anything to Landorus. I'm just gonna switch right now into a Bomber Snow because I have Landorus and both Thundurus out on the field. I can actually just go for the Blizzard. I'm just gonna go for the Rage Power just in case he happens to wake up and goes for like Hidden Power or Flying or something like that. I wanted to target Among Us, not necessarily a Bomber Snow, because a Bomber Snow does have the Focus Sash and that could come in handy a little bit later on. So I'm just gonna switch out into my Electros now as I inflict a little bit of Blizzard damage onto both opponents, and that should be enough to take both of them out since Landorus is quite weak and Thundurus already took some damage earlier on. So that does actually happen to take him out, and I'm looking at Terrakion as well as Scrafty left over. So I know Scrafty's gonna fake out. I don't know as to what planning to use fake out on, so I just end up protecting with both Pokemon as he ends up trying to fake out my Abomasnow and then afterwards going for the Rock Slide to finish the Abomasnow off with the Terrakion. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go for the Blizzard now. I do have the Icy one, so I actually should have went for that and then afterwards went for the Blizzard. In comes my Gyarados just to intimidate both Pokemon, especially after Scrafty finishes off my Electros, gaining the Moxie boost. I'm just gonna double switch right back out into Among Us as he double protects also, knowing full well that Blizzard is not gonna really finish off the Terrakion there. I'm just gonna protect with the Abomasnow, knowing full well that I can finish off the Terrakion with the Giga Drain at that point amount of HP, but I do happen to flinch, so Abomasnow is gonna bite the dust before finishing off this Scrafty. That would have been good game right there if he didn't get the flinch, but that was okay though. So I just bring back in Gyarados, get another Intimidator off as he finishes off my Abomasnow and then goes for the Crunch, gets a critical hit, and my defense drops, and the hail is enough to take me out. That is absolutely ludicrous. What the hell just happened? Now I'm just gonna go for the Protect now because Scrafty's at an amount of HP where it can't really take another 6% for the Hailstorm, and then it dies, and now I'm just gonna go for the Giga Drain to claim good game. He goes to the Rock Slide, scores another crit. Holy hell, imagine if he got a flinch right there. I would have been upset. Crazy game. As I prepare to showcase the secondary match to you on an empty stomach, I find out that my grueling opponents are Cresselia and Rhyperior. So what the hell am I gonna do? I'm just gonna switch right out into Among Us because I already know what time it is. He's just gonna go for the Trick Room. So even with the dimensions distorted, I know that Among Us will be faster. Well, you know, faster in the case that the dimensions are distorted than Cresselia, so I'll be able to put it to sleep before it gets a chance to do anything onto my team in general. So I'm just gonna go back into Gyarados, knowing full well that he's gonna go for the Rock Slide with the Rhyperior to cut down the amount of damage output that Rock Slide will do onto my Pokemon. But unfortunately, he does score a flinch on the Among Us, and I'm not able to put Cresselia to sleep before it hits me with the Psychic. Wow, man, I didn't anticipate me taking damage with Cresselia's Psychic. That wasn't part of the plan. Anyway, he brings back in, well, not back in, but initially switches out into Hitmontop to intimidate my Gyarados. So I'm just going to concentrate all my energy onto the Cresselia because that's a bigger threat here. I'm just going to go for Rage Powder so that he is forced to use Fake Out on Among Us. I'm supposed to use Fake Out on Gyarados. I just want to inflict as much waterfall damage on the Cresselia as possible before it wakes up. I'm thinking that this guy might have brought his Latios because I did see Latios on the team preview. You're only allowed to bring 4 Pokemon, not a 6 in flat rule standard set. I'm going to go for the Thunder Wave just in case he happens to have one of those major threats that I can't really normally deal with, like Latios, so I have to like power flinch it in order to dwindle down his HP. But instead he goes to the Protect and afterwards brings in the Gastrodon, which is a great move because Gastrodon's Storm Drain allows it to redirect the waterfall damage that was intended for Cresselia this turn to knock it out onto the Gastrodon. So Gastrodon's special attack does increase, as well as his Cresselia being able to set up the Trick Room just because of Storm Drain's ability. That is absolutely crazy. Great move by him. He's just gonna go for the Fake Out out on the Gyarados as he ice beams away my Among Us. And now I'm in a little bit of a dire situation because the key factor is now out of play forever for the rest of the battle. So now I'm just going to bring in Electros. I figured that Acrobatics is too obvious on Hitmontop, so I'm just going to direct it onto the Gastrodon as he Water Gens finishes off my Gyarados. I'm just going to inflict a critical hit, which is very crucial. You guys will see a little bit later on. Trick Room is still active, but unfortunately for him, this is the last turn for Trick Room to be active, so I'm just going to double protect, knowing full well that he's going to attempt to finish me off with the combination of Ice Beam and Close Combat. So I'm just going to be able to go first this turn as he switches out into Rhyperior, which is in my opinion a big mistake, buddy. I think you should actually save that for a little bit later on because the Blizzard's damage being split, but he intends to finish off with Abomasnow. I guess he was anticipating Abomasnow's destruction, but I do have the Focus Sash, so Abomasnow wasn't going anywhere, buddy. I knew what I was doing. So in comes his Gastrodon. Gastrodon Rhyperior is going to double bite the dust. Definitely had a lot of fun. Viewers, what you doing?
Got